Hey, good morning, man. Welcome, Patriots all. It's good to see you because you see me, and us seeing each other is a good thing. Trust me, it's good to be seen. So, welcome to Wake Up Patriots and your Patriots, and you're welcome. So here we go. Good weekend. I hope for everybody. Things are still recovering on my part of or my state, North Carolina. The western part is still not doing well because of FEMA and things like that. So we'll go through that a little bit today. We'll be talking about uh, the I don't know how I don't know how to describe her. She's kind of like if you took one of those sticks you put on your tongue, like a tongue depressor. If you took a tongue depressor and let it put it in a dark place and let it grow mold, that's kind of Hillary Clinton. We'll be talking about Hillary Clinton today too. So without further ado, someone who's not Hillary Clinton is Chris Cordani. Good morning, Chris.
No, I tried to get the haircut. It just didn't work for me. So,
I
no.
can't hear you, Chris. There you go.
Oh, yeah, I tried to
Huh?
get that.
What was
Yeah,
that?
I tried to get that haircut. It just didn't work for me. I don't think I'd look as good as good.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think I'd look as terrible in a
you don't
haircut as Hillary does.
you don't look good in Mao jackets either. So it's just not your look. Nothing wrong with that. Not
No,
everybody looks good in a Mao jacket. You
no,
got to have
only
that kind of that communist leer. You don't have that. So there
yeah.
you go.
I don't have the Trotsky look, if you will.
You don't have or the Trotskyites.
Oh boy, I mean, Trotsky was saying to his buddies over in the old Soviet Union, we need Stalin in charge, like I need a hole in the head.
And that yeah, I
Another
know.
hole in the
He
head.
was
There we
right
go.
about
Another
that.
hole in the
He
head. There
was
we go.
completely talk about calling it correctly. He was like Nostradamus of the Communist Party, right?
Um,
It's
you know,
like,
funny thing about Nostradamus. Did you know that he had a metal plate put around with a chain around his neck with the dates with the date May 1791 around it when he was buried?
no, I did not know that.
He
Is it true?
did. He did because he predicted this is his order. He predicted when somebody is going to try to drink wine from or blood or something from his skull and try to get his psychic powers. And it happened in May of 1791. The funny thing was, the rumor was anybody who tried to do that would gain the powers, but also would die instantly. The guy who did it,
Ah,
the guy who actually drank the skull or the whatever the from the skull, got I don't know if he got the powers, but he got killed instantly because of a stray bullet from the French Revolution.
wow. So so it's not true that Hillary drank from his skull then. I guess that's not true.
No,
That she
because
wasn't there.
she
She
can't seem to
really
tell
wasn't there.
anything. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, she tells a lot because we'll talk about that today.
Wait, we're
But
talking
I want to go
psychic, not psycho.
Yeah, well, I want to go through a few things today. So we got Jerry Corsi joining us this morning, right? Dr. Corsi's coming in.
Yep, and a major battleground state, has been found to have a corrupt voter roll algorithm. So we're going to talk about that.
So that's good. I just said hello, good morning to Dayton, the
Ah,
city, not the person.
yes.
It's true. It's true. So yeah, welcome everybody. Good to see y'all. Welcome. That people are showing up, getting on going. Make sure you get your coffee because we're gonna have a long show. Well, we always have long shows. We always go long, so it goes without saying. But anyway, I did speak to our evil overlord Ed Henry last week, right? You knew that, right?
I think so. Yes.
You did know.
Yes. I'm the underling. I'm sort of the Baldric of this program because if you're the
So
Blackadder,
no, there's a series I used to watch which I enjoyed, Mystery Science Theater 3000. So have you
yeah,
seen that?
I love this show.
Dr. Clayton Forrester and TV's Frank. I thought that was always funny. So
This would make me the Crow of the show, I guess, because I have the
I
nose
like
first of all.
Crow
Crow
and
is Tom Servo. Yep.
Tom Servo.
It's
So always good hilarity. Although I've heard they've gone woke. So what
yeah.
do I know? But
Well, as soon as
they do actually have the Minnesota Knights. They're from Minneapolis,
well,
from Hopkins.
as soon as Joel was gone, it went downhill. I mean, the other guy was
I
kind
think
of
so.
funny, yeah, but Joel was the best because he had that
Yeah, no,
sad
I
sack.
agree because
Yeah,
Joel Robinson and he's back now on their new improved thing that they
yeah.
do. They have their own little Pluto channel, which is kind of cute, but not. I don't know how they make money, but good on them for trying. But yeah, it wasn't as good as when Joel left, and I think and apparently Crow is now transgender. It's like okay,
Oh, come on.
I can
He's
live without Crow being funny. Well, he was funny. Now he's not funny. I guess that's the way I should say it, right?
Well,
He was funny. Now he's not funny because they're trying to make him funny.
if
I
it's
guess
woke,
that makes
it's not
sense.
funny. If
Yeah, there you
this
go.
is about three people or whoever sitting together making comments about movies impromptu. Now I'm
So
sure it's
yeah, but
over rehearsed. Yeah.
well, speaking of over rehearsed, I want to get into something before we bring in Jerry. And you've got clips on Kamala Mala Ding Dong. Do you have a clip on her today? I
Well,
think you do.
here's
I don't
here's
want it
what
now. I'm just
right.
asking about it.
We have something from last week, yes, and
Okay.
this is what happens when the teleprompter goes down and it's a Democrat. So,
Oh yeah, I want to see that. And we got Hillary talking like Satan's left testicle because Barack Obama's the right testicle, right? They're like a pair.
uh,
You know, they come in pairs, right? Don't they? I think
e-
they do. Last
exactly.
time I checked.
And George Soros is the deformed third one.
Yeah, he's like the long leg, the tripod.
Yep, Alex
All right,
becomes the extra nipple.
he becomes something. Well, let's get back to my ranting this morning. I got some rants I need to go through. So last week, I was driving as I do here locally. Doing. Oh, by the way, did you know they're into stealing election signs down here? It's been my Facebook. So we have a rash of, I'll just say it, Democrats stealing campaign signs. I wonder why. Would you do you think that if Democrats were secure and confident in their own prowess that they'd be stealing campaign signs, Chris? Do you think that that's a sign of confidence?
I think it's not only a sign of confidence from them because they think they can actually take these things down without any what's the word without any repercussions. But the fact is, yeah, I think they're scared. I believe they're scared. I also think that these signs intimidate them.
I think so, especially
Right.
mine, because I've had several stolen.
Oh,
So yeah, no, I'm sure it's like it's true. I mean, I swear to God, I mean they steal these things. I just literally one of my admin things this morning was ordering more signs for my campaign.
well, they're
So,
trying to bankrupt your campaign. They're trying to bankrupt the coffers by
well, they
making
ain't
you buy
doing
more
well
signs.
because I got more money than I need, apparently. Just saying. It's like, and by the way, folks, don't send money. I'm serious. I mean, I don't need the money. I'm not one of the, oh, so it's like, no. I've had friends in DC offer to write like large checks. Like, no, don't do that. I'm
Oh,
fine. I'm doing fine. But yeah, here, let me show you this. You've all seen this. This is not new. By the way, I got a nice thank you card from Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew sent me a nice thank you card. See, he signed it there, Dr. Drew.
okay.
Isn't it nice
Yeah,
of Dr.
Dr.
Drew?
Drew's cool. Dr. Drew is
He's
cool.
cool. He's a
You
cool
gotta
guy.
check out
Yeah.
Tony. If you haven't seen Tony's appearance on Dr. Drew, check it out.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. And he wrote it himself. Who does
Yeah,
that?
see, they always
He's a good guy.
you got all these
Dr.
letters
Drew's
from Chris
cool. He's
Ruddy,
chill.
Dr. Drew. You're getting everybody.
Anyway, so I was going to say here, this is what so if you see my signs, report if you see people stealing my signs, do that.
Right.
But yeah. So
Or
I've
punch
ordered
them in
some
the
more signs
nose.
today.
You can punch them in the nose if you want. Oh, there's nothing
And
wrong
I don't know.
with that.
They don't have a nose. They have like an esophagus. They're like, you know, they're like a creature like they're like Sauron's evil minions
Oh yeah.
or flying monkeys. We should do a contest, folks. Do you think today's Democrats are more like flying monkeys or Sauron's orcs? That's a good question for the team, right? Sauron's orcs from Lord of the Rings or flying monkeys from Wizard of Oz? I think it's a reasonable question. Don't you think so?
I
It's
think
gonna get
so
me in
too.
trouble, but might as well go. If we're gonna get fired, might as well go to the top. You know,
Well, some of them look like orcs.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And
That's true.
I guess you don't want to call them flying monkeys because then somebody's going to say, "Oh, you're being racist."
Well, I don't know. Hey, look, Nancy Pelosi had flying monkeys, my friend. I'm
Right.
telling you, I know what I saw coming out of her office.
I know, but they'll twist the left or the media will twist every word you say and try to make it sound racist. I don't think you can do that.
Yeah,
with
flying
orcs, though.
monkeys fling poo. That's true. Well,
Right.
I haven't seen the poo flinging yet. Orcs is one vote for orcs.
Yeah, definitely works.
The flying monkeys are beaten so far. Lord of the
Right.
Rings, evil creatures. Yes, that's orcs. Yes. TS money.
Yep.
That's orcs. Yes, flying
Yeah,
monkeys.
definitely the orcs. Yeah,
Flying
I'm in
monkeys
with
are
the
really
orcs.
flying.
Hmm.
Flying in the chat.
I don't
So
know.
that's good.
I'm definite on the orcs because I've seen some of them. You know, I've actually
I know,
been-
but I'm telling you, the folks like the flying monkeys. Well, I don't know if I like flying monkeys, but the flying monkeys are. Yeah, I know.
You
Yeah, I know. It's theft. Stealing my
Really?
signs is theft.
Yeah.
Right.
The only place flying monkeys that look good is on the grill.
On the grill. I don't know about that. I've made some Bubba burgers on was it Friday or Saturday? Friday with my girlfriend. She was very impressed that I didn't overcook them.
Bubba
That's
burgers.
that's a good thing.
I
So there you
actually
go.
like
We had actually good Bubba burgers. Just saying.
you didn't have the black bean burgers or the
And I
or the
didn't. No
veggie
flying.
burgers
We didn't. No flying monkeys were harmed cooking Bubba burgers. Just saying.
or veggie burgers. There you go. You
Or
didn't have
veggie.
your veggie
No. Oh
burgers.
no 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 no. Bite your tongue, Chris. Bite your
Yeah,
tongue. That's
yeah.
not. We can't.
Okay.
No
Yeah,
no
those things are
veggies.
terrible.
No 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 no. None of that.
And
You know what they make that stuff out of?
yes,
They make that out of 78 Buick Skylark tires and plant leavings. Like when you go to a farm and you see all those plants on the side, they cut that all up and put it in a burger. It's horrible.
you know what bothers me most about these vegans and vegetarians? They're trying so hard to make all their food now look like meat. Just cut out the middleman. Grab a piece of bacon. You'll like it.
Are you
Don't
talking
worry
about
about it.
lesbians? You're not talking
Uh,
about lesbians, are you?
Vegetarians or whatever they call
Oh,
themselves
okay.
these days.
Sorry, I digressed. I don't, folks. I have nothing. I love lesbians. Well, sort of. I mean, if I could, I would.
That sounds
That
like
doesn't sound right either. It doesn't
that
sound.
sounds
Well,
like
just
Howard
forget
Stern
I
when he was
forget
funny.
I forget I mentioned lesbians. Let's get back on topic.
Well, what's so bad
All
about
right,
actors?
let me get back to my rant. Okay, so
Okay.
back to my rant. So on Friday, speaking of Friday, I was out driving in my truck, my campaign truck. It says all the stuff. It has my little thing on the side and everything. Anyway, I was driving and guess what I was listening to, Chris? NPR,
Oh no.
National Panhandler Radio. I mean, public radio. Chris Plant, our friend Chris Plant calls it Panhandler Radio, which is true.
I like that.
Anyway, would you? I could not believe that they were slamming conservatives. I was
Well,
like, what? How can
the
this be? I
the
thought they
gall.
were national public radio. Doesn't it imply that if you're public, you're supposed to embrace both sides without regard to politics?
Well,
Am I missing something?
National Pathetic Radio has become the sort of veiled anger network
Yeah.
for the left
So,
because
and the
they
reason
try
I'm
to
bringing
cover
it
it
up,
up in this. They
yeah.
try to
So the
cover
reason I'm
in
bringing
this
it up is
NPR
because
voice.
they did cover Trump making a claim that that the FEMA response was failing. So they said Trump is claiming, and they said that it's false, that he's claiming it without evidence.
They, those are two words that are rather interesting. They're only in there now as far as the media is concerned when it comes to a Republican making a claim. When
Yeah,
a Democrat makes a
yeah,
claim, it's taken
yeah,
as the word of God.
exactly.
But when
That's my
the
point.
term without evidence is their means to make you think, well, they're just saying something without proving it.
Bingo.
Right.
And I wrote it down because, like, what?
Yeah, I try to add that, so that the same thing with the term election denier. So whenever they say election denier, they get some
NPR
kind
is a waste of
commentator,
money. Yes, that's
right?
right. That's right.
That's why
NPR
when
is a
somebody
waste.
says Stacey Abrams or Hillary Clinton, we have to add the term election denier in front of that because that's the truth. And they're still doing it, by the way.
Well, I think they ought to be defunded.
Right.
I think. So one of my agenda items, just for the folks to know, and hopefully I'll be seeing President Trump, not the guy that thinks he may be president, Joe Biden, is that my recommendation is not only to get rid of Department of Education, but get rid of NPR. NPR
Yeah.
is an extension of the Democrat Party. I mean, if you're going to comment on a situation with the severity of Helene and the damage it caused in the western part of the state, just tell the truth. Just tell the freaking truth.
Well,
I
state-run
don't
media.
understand. No, this is not acceptable. The
It-
idea that it turns out he's right, Chris? He's right.
Well,
FEMA is failing.
Yeah, in fact, who cannot trust state-run media? Like
Yeah.
like National Pathetic Radio. State-run media is absolutely the way to go as far as the new left is concerned. So
Yeah.
they're the end all for everything. And if you go against the narrative. And here's the funny thing: the other problem is this whole thing about FEMA. The reason why they don't have any money is because we're wasting all this money on protecting Biden's business interests in Ukraine, and of course
Right.
shelling out all sorts of FEMA money to the illegals
Right.
and housing them and feeding them and everything.
Did you see Kamala Mala Ding Dong tweeted out about how we're helping people in Lebanon? It's like,
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yep.
That's not Lebanon, Ohio, where they needed the help. This is Lebanon, the nation.
Right. And But it's amazing how people love this idea, and then you turn around and say, "Well, here's $750 to everybody."
Yeah.
This is almost as pathetic as how they handled Maui, the
Well,
wildfires there.
that's another sore spot. But my point is pretty basic, and people need to be waking up.
Well,
Democrats are not your friends, people. Democrats are not your friends. No matter
no,
what they say, no matter how they try to put a sugar coating on the BS that they give you, they're not your friends. They're
Eh,
not.
let's take you back to 2022, where your favorite person, you're down with KJP. Well, she was down with this whole idea of FEMA allocating again a lot of money to
Yeah,
migrants
yeah, yeah.
coming
You
in
get the tape
and
on that?
migrant help.
That's a
I
great
actually
thing to
don't
talk.
have the tape on that. I do have
Oh,
something I can pull in there for you, but it was from
well,
my
no. Well, let's talk about that because I did tweet it. So those who are following me on X, you should.
Yep.
I've got a very active account. There, right? I said on Saturday, who listened, a lot of folks here also follow me during my Saturday morning update on WMAL DC, which is, by the way, the top-rated show in the DC market. Very proud
Nice.
of Rick Fowler and WMAL. We're very happy that everybody listens to us. Anyway, so on that show, before I saw this clip, by the way, I said she's lying. I said she's lying. I said flat out, there's no way. No, they have made statements in the past saying that they're using FEMA funds to support those cities, especially those cities which are overwhelming, using FEMA funds to help local officials, emergency funds. They said this, and then for Corinne Jean-Luc Picard, what's her name? Corinne
Uh,
Jean-Luc
Karine
Jean Pierre Jean
Jean
Pierre.
Pierre. Yes.
Ho, ho, ho.
You have to
Anyway,
be hoity-toity and make sure that's right. Yeah.
she was lying.
Mhm.
Biden, they're all lying. That's where all the money went, and that's why they're all saying, "Oh, we only got $750 left and some lint in the bottom of our pocket." So it's like, okay, I'll take the lint. So anyway, it's horrible. So anyway, what do you want to roll next, Chris? You want to get into the Hillary Clinton
Well, let's
and her
let's
flying monkeys?
well, like I could do this for you here. What was it? I could do this for you here. The
Do
Mark,
whatever. Well, you're the producer, so you
yeah. Well,
produce.
you were talking about this whole thing with Corinne Jean Pierre. Well, what's his name? Mark Dice actually had a kind of funny take on this. If you want to check that out, Mark
Oh,
Dice's
good.
channel.
Yeah, let's do it. I like Mark Dice.
Yeah,
We're
Mark Dice
friends
is
on
pretty
Twitter.
cool.
X.
China in the wake of Hurricane Helene. Here is the little gnome, Karine Jean-Pierre, caught
Gnome.
in yet another lie, thanks to the power of video on the internet.
It's just categorically false. No, Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants.
Well, that's the story today, but just a couple years ago, they were very proud of their diversity efforts.
So FEMA regional administrators have been meeting with city officials on site to coordinate available federal support from FEMA and other federal agencies. Funding is also available through FEMA's emergency food and shelter program to eligible local governments and not.
Okay, there we go. And this
There you
is
go.
and
There you
Mark
go.
Mark cracks me up. I love Mark Dice. I try to
No, I
check
love
him out
Mark.
every
We're
morning.
friends on X. I just brought his account up. We've
Yep.
exchanged.
So we love Mark
Good
here,
guy,
but like
good guy.
he's
Yeah.
right about this. Now, of course, this leads to the fact that we can't be talking about this on social media, according to
And
another
that's right.
flying monkey, the
Yeah.
queen of
Ooh,
them
man,
herself.
that's hard to take this early in the morning, Chris. You
That's
should
right.
warn us.
Hillary.
We should
Hillary
come up with a
Rodham-
warnings. Could you do like a warning thing? It says warning. Those eating breakfast or have sensitive stomachs, we're about to show you something that can cause irritation or upset or throw up. We should do that. We should have something that warns people because I hate
Well,
I
we
hate
should. And the thing
shocking
is,
the Patriots. Do you know how many people's eyes are bleeding right now from this? I hate to think about it.
yeah, and they're tossing their breakfast too. So I apologize for this in advance, but this is what happens.
He is
So Hillary
nasty. That's
Rodham
right.
Clinton. Well, we should have one of those warnings. If Gallagher can have a splash zone, we can have a let's say breakfast out of your nose zone. Okay, how about that? So here it is. Here's your trigger warning.
That's right.
Here's your breakfast coming out of your nose warning.
Eggs and
Okay.
eggs and
Hillary
nose hair.
Rodham
That's a
Clinton.
good combination. Yes.
Yep. And Hillary's telling you that we should not be speaking on social media.
That's right.
The platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm. That if the
Real harm. Oh, by the way, I know my background is fake, but I don't have a fake background to pretend I'm in an actual room trying to be like everybody else. Look at that fake background.
Well, no, you can see there's a scene where she's burying a body in the desert behind her. Look at that. Like to get the body laid out there. It's great. To me, that's truth in advertising. Like, oh, here's our latest victim. It's a warning.
Hey-yo, you got a hey-yo for that one.
No, I'm serious. Look, you can see she's got the Hillary blue. She's got the assassin right there. The body's on the ground, getting ready to bury it. I think it's really great that she's being that direct about things. At least you know what you're getting now, right?
And why are the liberals always trotting this woman out just to say these outlandish things anymore? I guess she's saying things that Harris cannot say at this point. She's almost the surrogate for Kamala Harris, telling you, well, Harris is not gonna say anything, but I'm going to tell you this right now: we are going to censor your speech. We cannot move forward with our agenda if you keep giving each other information.
That's right. It takes a village, or in her case, it takes a village idiot. So
it takes a pillage. That's what it takes.
That's right.
And that's what they did. They pillaged the FEMA funds.
Yeah, well, they did. And so, is that? Let me ask you a style question. I don't want to get you in trouble, but you're like a fashion pioneer, aren't you? I mean, you know these things. So, look at that Mao jacket she's wearing. Is that the latest version of a Mao jacket, or is that like Is that like that guy, the Heaven's Gate guy that had everybody in San Diego put on Nike sneakers and take poison and go to sleep? Is that the look she's going for? Remember that guy, Apple something.
I forgot his name too. Some kind of weirdo. The Hell Bop weirdos, right?
Yeah. Hell Bop. Yeah. So do you think she's wanting to bring back the Hell Bop people? Have they been out there long enough? She's going to bring them back with that kind of space Mao jacket. I mean, put it back. Can you put it back up? Because she's got that look. She's got that space Mao thing. Look at that.
I'm thinking she's ready to sing one of us, gooble gobble.
Yeah, it could be. Or maybe she's becoming an Oompa Loompa. You think she's turning purple? I don't know. It could be.
She may have eaten the snozberries. Or which berry was that?
Snozberries. I don't know. The snozberries taste like snozberries, which is true.
Right.
That's a great movie, by the way.
I know. Well, the first one is not the politically correct one they made later on.
Yeah, that second one was okay. I mean, they made fun of the Canadians, which is okay. That's like nice, but not great. So
it's low hanging fruit. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it was very low hanging fruit. Well, if Hillary Clinton is the master of low hanging fruit, just saying, she's like if there were something on the ground worth picking up, you can tell that she'd be there trying to sniff around for it. Just saying. Not that she's a gutter snipe or something, but maybe.
But let's make no mistake about this. She is the surrogate for the Democrat Party at this point. She's out there to say things, the outlandish things that Walz won't say and that Harris won't say and that any of the Senate candidates won't say.
Well, we all know it. It's like James O'Keefe confirming that MSNBC is in the tank for Kamala. It's like, okay, yes, I'm glad you got him on record, but we kind of already knew this. It wasn't like news. Like
the best line. The best line came from the. Did you see the latest James O'Keefe video?
Yeah.
The best line came from that producer of the whatever show it is, some weekend show on MSNBC. MSNBC is deliberately dumbing down their audience.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
I agree. They are. Well, I mean, literally, if you watch MSNBC more than twice a year, you lose your IQ by 10 points. It's proven. Johns Hopkins did a study, and people who watch NBC are literally reduced to imbecile status by year 3 if they watch constantly.
Are you saying they're so dumb that they think Lionel Richie is some kid with trains?
That's right. That's correct. That is correct, and that's why so many of them actually go to hobby shops looking for Lionel Richie. That's why.
Really? Well,
they do. They never find him. Anyway, but I want to hit something. One of the folks in the chat brought up 230, and I agree. 230, what she's referring to, 230, gives essentially it creates conditions for social media outlets to become essentially a utility. Now, let me be very clear what the difference is. Utility versus publisher. If you're a publisher like the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, then you have editorial control, right, Chris? If you do an
power of
Whoops.
oh,
That was
that-
weird. That
okay, well,
yeah.
was that Hillary's one of Hillary's folks?
It was a
trying to get in
glitch.
and muscle in and be
No,
upset.
it was a little
There are a
glitch
lot
on
of
the
people
yeah,
upset with us. It's always
internet
the
glitch.
case.
Internet
Anyway,
glitch.
but anyway, back to 230. 230 allows for it should allow, and there probably could be some clarification to allow like Rumble, which we're on, good for Rumble, YouTube, X, and others to become utilities. That is to say, it's like nobody cares what you say on your phone. If you say something illegal, well, the government may pick it up and prosecute you, but the T-Mobile, who's my care, they don't care. Same with people who give you my internet. They don't care what I say or do. It's a utility. They're just a conduit. And so my belief is, because we have the First Amendment, the government can't interfere with what we say on social media. So you think it's correct? That's my interpretation. What do you think, Chris?
Oh, I think you're right too. And the idea is this whole argument over 230 has been going back and forth since, well, obviously for the last almost a decade, I guess. That was the big issue. And there were people saying, well, we should have it, we shouldn't have it. But the idea is the government really does want control over the content of social media. They're afraid. I understand. They're afraid of the memes. Memes are the lowest form of political content, but they're funny. Yes, there are people that believe these things and they throw them around. But then again, they'll believe anything anyway. But there
if you
is
hear
real
already that
legitimate information.
Well, Mr. Reagan sued the state of California, Gavin Newsom, and his titanium hair, and
Right.
The courts have issued an injunction saying no,
Free
no
speech.
governor perfect hair. You cannot. That violates the First Amendment. I think it's going to work its way to the Supreme Court. I don't think anybody, no matter how offended they are by AI, have the right to stop people from expressing themselves, right or wrong. That's my view of it. So just,
Oh, agreed. And think about this. The idea is the real information. First off, censoring memes is like censoring comedians. That's number one. And the Soviet
Literally.
Union had and this came directly from Yakov Smirnov in an interview I did with him in the past. He said there was actually a department of jokes in the Soviet Union that every comedian's work had to pass through. Not a joke.
wow.
Department of
Not a joke.
jokes. Right. Now, having said that, the idea is to censor the actual information, legit information that's coming through. The
Right, of
things,
course.
things that we're bringing out. This
Yeah.
idea that Karine Jean-Pierre said in 2022, all this stuff about all the FEMA money going towards migrants and everything else, and they didn't want they wanted to label that misinformation. Therefore, with their control, we wouldn't be able to find and locate
Exactly.
these videos and send them out there. And that's the
Well, it
issue.
wouldn't be as easy. Wouldn't
Right.
be as available. But yeah, I agree with you.
I did make a cute
So-
mashup for you, though.
What's that?
I did make a cute mashup for you.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
working
here
on
we
a
go.
project. I'm working on a project. This is the Democrats' the new strategic platform. I started this, and I'm commissioned to work on this for them. So check this out.
MSNBC is the Democratic Party's mouthpiece.
Yes, they've made their viewers dumber over the years.
Don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
Turn the page on the last decade. The last decade, of course, the last 3.5 years has been part of your administration.
There you go. I'm working on that. How's the
Embarrassing.
project going?
So, yeah, notably, I don't want to go down this path too far, but I think we should note that that I think Donald Trump did a good job of debating Harris. Harris Walls. What can I say?
I know. Well, he was
Harry
debating
Balls.
Harris, Muir, and the other.
Harris Wall. Anyway, so Trump debated Kamala Harris, and he should have pointed out more vigorously, although he did in the end, in the summary, you're offering all this stuff, but you're the one who has been in office. I have been in office. I don't think they pointed out enough, which they should. So, right?
Yep.
Chris?
Yeah, I think
All right.
so.
So
I
I got
think
to do
you're
a read, don't I? So I'm going to bring it up right now. So for those of you who like the show, If you're watching, I think you like the show, right, Chris? If someone's watching, do you think they like the show, or are they like hate watching, like people on the left? What do you think?
I think they are. Well, there is every once in a while some troll that puts a dislike here and tries to troll everybody. But yeah, I think for the most part, people like it. And I think the left likes it because we are, you know what? We're delights.
We are
And you're a
delights.
delight.
I get that from everybody I talk to. I'm just delightful. I
That's
bring
right.
joy and life to their life. Did you know that? I do. Anyway,
You
we
bring
want to
joy
bring
to
you
this
some joy and
program.
light too. So that's why
Yes.
you need to reach out to Colonial Metals, colonialmetalsgroup.com. Check them out. Check out our friend Paul Stone. Is Paul going to be here tomorrow? That's a
Paul is
question
here
to you, Chris.
tomorrow. And
Oh, good. So we're going to be talking to
like I
Paul.
said, Paul is
will
here
help.
tomorrow. Yes, Paul is here
But
tomorrow.
he'll continue to educate us and make sure that we're all on top of what you need to do to make sure that you are prepared to deal with and come through, survive and thrive any economic challenge, any of the headwinds. And boy, oh boy, do we have economic headwinds. It's like Kamala Harris has been an economic hurricane, right? It's like she's talk about a blowhard. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, she's like it's like category 4 of economic
I
challenge.
think it's an unfortunate choice of words, but we'll digress on that
We'll
one.
go with it. Anyway, it's my show. Well, it's not my show. It's Ed's show, but we'll get fired eventually. So
Thank
it'll
you,
be back
Willie
to Ed's
Brown.
show.
All right.
Thank you, Willie Brown. Anyway, other than we're talking about Willie, we're talking about Paul, and Paul wants to bring you the best information available on buying gold and silver. Folks, you cannot go wrong. You will not go wrong by actually opening up your portfolio and including. There he is, the slave master himself, Ed Henry. Go to his section of their website and check out what they have. colonialmetalsgroup.com/Ed-Henry. So the Ed Henry Show viewers, and that's you, right? Pay attention here. I know it's early. I know you had to get past the Hillary Clinton picture, but you made it. Right, Chris? They're here.
Yep.
Go check this out. We'll have Paul here tomorrow to tell you more. But in the meantime, either go to the website, colonialmetalsgroup.com/Ed-Henry or 800-805-4034. 800-05-4034. You will not go wrong. You'll go right. And you'll want to be on the right side of history and the right side of the economic prosperity that your family needs and deserves. So there you go. Right, Chris?
I've always been told I was on the wrong side of history, so I'm fine with the wrong side of history, but the right side of the economic swing.
That's right. Well, I want to be on the right side that doesn't steal campaign signs, but I digress.
Oh, they think they're the right side.
They think there's some side. I don't know. It's like I thought a lot about this because the sheriff's folks and if the person stealing the signs are watching, dude, seriously, is going to jail over this going to be worth it? Because everything's being documented. When they catch you, they're going to put the cuffs on you. It's going to be embarrassing. So it doesn't matter to me. It's like it's more as I said. This speaks about you guys. It's like, okay, you really think it's that important to break the law? I guess this isn't the billions going to Ukraine, but it's like, Rudy Giuliani and I talked about the broken window thing, right? You don't enforce the lower crimes, people start getting comfortable doing more, right? So
yeah, I mean,
folks here are going to take it seriously and they're going to put the habeas corpus on you if they get you.
Well,
I
did propose one of those broken window laws very recently. I'm sending it to New York, and I think Mayor Adams is going to look at this since he's being, since the left has turned its back on him. He might look at this idea. I understand the police don't want to arrest people and throw people in jail and do all sorts of paperwork for jumping turnstiles in subways. So I think that the NYPD or transit police should be able to give anybody who jumps a turnstile a punch in the arm. Okay? This is it. It's called a demerit. So, this way you don't have to, paperwork, just to get a punch in the arm every time you do it. And that'll deter crime because these guys hit hard. I mean, they do. They're trained.
I think they ought to be forced to have a buzz cut. It's like they take them aside and cut their hair all off. It's like, okay, dude.
Every
it's like it's like the what's that thing? The scarlet letter. So
with a bowl cut. Get a bowl cut.
That's right, a bowl cut. So good morning, Jerry. Good morning, Dr. Corsi. We're being joined now by Dr. Corsi. I don't know.
Hey, Tony.
Jerry, You weren't watching earlier because if you did, your eyes would be bleeding because we know we had a picture of Hillary Clinton on. So
Well, I've had a bond up with Hillary Clinton for a lifetime, I'll tell you.
I know that's true. We
But they
know
keep
that's
trotting
true.
around there. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean,
That's right.
and she wants us all to shut up and listen to her. I mean, we're not supposed to have any First Amendment anymore, according to her and John Kerry. We don't need any stinking First Amendment.
Jerry,
Wanna
I
hear
don't.
any-
I want to ask you. I don't want to get you in trouble, but do you think Bill Clinton has a First Amendment right when he's around her?
No.
I feel, Jerry, I
No.
feel your pain.
Yeah,
I don't know what to do about Hillary.
Let's he wants to get furniture thrown at him.
Well, so we're being joined because Jerry has an update, and everybody, I know you all love Jerry. Jerry, just so you know that the folks love you, and literally, we
Well,
got good views. We got people showing up now. We're going to have even better views as people do. So this is important to the folks, and what you're doing is hugely important. We're going to encourage people to go to God's Five Stones, right, to talk about this when you go through. We'll have that up, but more importantly, you have an update regarding the final battle is literally underway, and I think this is not about left or right. This is not about. It's about survival of Western civilization because right now we have people who are committed to the destruction of the very foundation of civilization and our republic for what it is. Right, Jerry? I mean, that's what we're faced with.
we're faced with it. I mean, what's astounding is this God's Five Stone is casting light on the voter fraud in a different way. I mean, we're finding that the State Board of Election databases, the voter registration databases, have algorithms written into them which permit the creation of non-existent voters, and yet these voters are able to get valid state IDs because of how the coding is done of the database. These fake IDs are fake voters appear to be real voters.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a shuffling of the cards game, and where you've got marked cards, and your marked cards are your fake voters, and they're created through having the voter ID not reflect the date of registration. So it's kind of like a free-floating database of voters who are registered that can be mixed together, and then fake cards, your marked cards inserted into them. So and Wisconsin is the most recent state we found, now, which is pretty startling because Wisconsin's one of the battleground states. And Wisconsin has algorithms in its database, which is a complicated algorithm. Andrew Paquette has found it. And so this adds to our list. We're finding now the list is growing. We're also going to report this week on New Jersey, where there's algorithms. We're also about ready to report on Texas, where we found algorithms. So we're finding them all across the country. And this should be a big story. I mean, again, you can't have and I think as we get closer to the election, it's going to be even a bigger story because here's the point. If let's say you're playing blackjack in a casino and you find out that the cards are marked, they're playing with a rigged deck, so you're playing crooked cards. Well, that casino can't prove you lost a hand. So therefore, if we find that voters are suddenly Kamala wins in Wisconsin, and they've got an algorithm in the database, that's a basis on which to challenge the election before it's certified. In other words, you can get right in there and challenge the election. There's about 10 down ballot elections for Senate or House that are critical. For instance, we found the algorithm in Ohio. Well, we're looking at this Sherrod Brown race. He's running against a Republican he wants to be reelected to the Senate. And again, that's an election that's ripe for the stealing on the algorithm that's in Ohio's database. So they don't have to necessarily steal the presidency. They can steal also the critical election. And these algorithms have been in the database since about 2007. That's what Paquette has found. Dr. Paquette has seen. And so how many elections do we have since 2007, when Obama was just beginning to run for president, that have been stolen? How many people are in office today in the House or the Senate or in other elections because the algorithms put them there? So if
Well,
you've
I
got,
think that's an issue that, yeah. So that's a valid issue. Now, I've always wondered, Jerry, because I've done election, as you know, we've talked about this both on and off air. I am considered a election and election integrity expert because I've testified regarding technical vulnerabilities and some other issues relating to that. But one of my concerns that you've kind of outlined here, I see the left in predominantly red states like Georgia. Georgia's still really a red state, despite what they say, as well as Texas. They keep, AOC was saying they're going to turn Texas blues. Like, really? So either they're nuts or they're going to try to put the fix in. Which one do you think it is?
well, it's a combination. I mean, the Democrats use the communist ideology, which is you change a country's ideology by changing the demography.
Right.
So therefore, they think bringing in all these illegal immigrants are going to make the country go left. I think they're bringing in a lot of people who still believe in God and who have fundamental family values. The Latino culture is not particularly macho culture favorable to men wearing dresses. And I think they should think about this before they begin championing that all the people from south of the border being brought into this country are necessarily going to vote Democratic. I'm not sure that's true.
I agree.
And
But that's a presumption. They presume that, I
they
think, at their
presume
own
it.
peril.
Well,
Yeah.
they're giving them money
Good.
again. It's the old, here's a credit card, here's a cell phone, here's a hotel room, it doesn't cost anything, here's food. So it looks like the country's free. And
Right.
the initial
But I
entry
think a lot of folks are waking up though, Jerry. It's like, hey, I'm here now. Let's shut it off. I see that more and more in the Latino communities. Like, yeah, we don't want more people coming here. So I know my legitimately uh, certified real citizens who came and went through the process, naturalized citizens, I should say. My friend Sergio de la Pena, former retired colonel, former assistant secretary of defense under President Reagan, President Trump's Pentagon. He was an assistant secretary of defense for Western Hemisphere. He's adamantly against illegal immigration. Matter of fact, he was the guy that worked with the State Department to put the Remain in Mexico policy in place and some other things like that. So, to your point, Jerry, I don't think there's any guarantee. So, part of what I think we see here is that they want to put a fix in no matter what. It's like even if you
Right.
don't want to vote Democrat, they're going to make sure it appears you vote Democrat. Is that accurate?
Yes, and also there's another element to this too, which is I think these cryptographic schemes we're finding in the state election, Board of Election databases are NSA or CIA quality. These are intelligence agency quality.
Right.
These are not easy schemes. Look at the mathematics you're showing on the screen right now. Dr. Paquette is very brilliant in terms of recognizing these patterns and finding them. But for the average person, this requires a lot of work in order to really see the algorithms and how they function. So whoever put these there didn't expect them to be found. That's number one. Number two, if this is an intelligence operation, and we've come to see that we're living in many ways in a Truman Show. I continue to point this out. My earlier book this year, which showed with Dr. Mantix looking at the JFK skull X-rays from the autopsy and doing with a densitometer measuring scientifically the light coming through these X-rays. All three are forged, mask evidence of frontal shots. All three of the extant JFK skull X-rays from the autopsy. And so JFK was shot twice from the front. Well, that's obvious in the X-rays.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So the CIA has been running things increasingly since the 1960s. It just go through why do buildings, I continue to ask, why do buildings that 9/11 were not hit by the airplanes fall down? That's building number 7. Why did we not find any weapons of mass destruction in 1991? We went into Iraq to get Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
Well, because they weren't there. It was a CIA lie that they were there. Well, the CIA is again now, I think, thinking they can architect our elections and steal our elections. So the Democrats are down to the point of running Kamala Harris and this guy Wall, who are two of the worst candidates I've ever seen.
Oh,
but it's a psychological operation because they're also saying They're doing well in the polls. And look at how close they are in these states. And they could flip Georgia again. These are all psychological arguments that are conditioning everybody for a steal again, which I think is the only last hope the Democrats have to win this election.
Yeah, let me emphasize that. So, folks, what Jerry's saying is that you're being lied to. That folks like us we'll never buy it. But it's not about us. It's about those in the middle who have to be convinced that yes, the momentum is really going their way. That is the Kamala Harris and Tim Walz way, and that we're just somehow misinformed because they like misinformation. But that's what they're going with here. They're trying to basically convince people, especially in the middle. And of course, they're sheep. By the way, Jerry, did you hear that people who watch MSNBC are stupid? Did you know that?
No, I mean,
over the weekend. I think it's true. I don't think it's misinformation.
It comes right from their producer. Yeah, right from their producer. Right.
Well, what you're dealing with is a dumbing down of the population in general, and the people are not being taught in schools really critical thinking.
Oh, I know.
So they're being taught about gender insecurity. And
I want to hit that.
Being indoctrinated, and that with a dumbed down population, it's easier to lie.
Right.
So let's hit that because we're going to circle the square here because I wanted to bring up some Tim Walz stuff. So I'm driving with my son last night. My son is 17. He's a senior in high school. He's a gamer. I love him to death. He's a great kid. He's coming up. He turns 18 in a few days. And we were just talking about, he got really upset. He said, Dad, I'm really upset. All my friends in my chats, my game chats are all getting political. It's like, what? So now let me finish because this is important. Kamala Harris and her goons or flying monkeys, depending on your flavor, right, Chris? Flying monkeys can go online too.
Or
they have virtual flying monkeys in these chat rooms trying to convince kids to tell their parents to vote for Kamala Harris. And I'm not kidding about that. Now, while I'm not surprised, what I'm surprised is my son said, well, I went and fact checked Tim Walz. I said, what? Yeah, there he is. My son, 17, said, well, I heard him say that Minnesota's this, Minnesota's that. Dad, it's not true. They're 16 in one spot. He went through, Jerry, on his own at 17 and fact checked. He said, my impression is they say stuff and nobody checks it. This is a 17-year-old.
Exactly.
Figured it out. Now,
I hope it works.
I hope that everybody's taking a lesson from this because everything Walz says is false. But Jerry, I'm very proud of my son. It's like he fact checked Tim Walz.
It's remarkable that he did that. It's good that he did that because look, it's down to the point where if anybody in the Democratic Party says something, they're lying. Now, why are they lying? You might wonder why they're lying. They have different motives for lying, but they're lying. And what has been produced, and Kamala Harris is running for office against herself, okay? Because the Biden administration has produced nothing but wars. We've got wars in Ukraine. We've got wars in the Middle East. That's going to expand. We're going to have an attack on Iran, which is probably coming this week. Certainly, Iran thinks so. They've canceled air flights and they're hunkering down to be hit really hard by Israel. And Israel's going to, I think there's going to be a huge attack on Iran when it occurs.
I agree with you.
I think it's going to be massive. And I think Israel feels in an existential battle right now, feels very little supported, certainly not by, by the Hamas-loving Democratic Party. But look, right now, they've said all the Hamas demonstrations on the universities have stopped. All the gay pride parades have lowered their tone. We're hearing less about climate change right now. So all these lies that the Democrats have been telling with the assistance of the CIA, with mainstream media, they're toning down because they can't run on their record. So they're running against their own record, saying we're going to improve it. But they're lying.
Rance Priebus even called out Donna Brazile on air on CNN, saying you all lie, and that was a great. It was like, holy cow! Anyway, but
if even Rance Priebus can do that, I mean, he's about as big a rhino as you can get.
I know.
Yep.
So, but I have a question for you regarding. So, does Tim Walz has that El Duce look going. He looks a bit like he does. I think there's no. It's not an accident. He dresses and looks a bit like Mussolini. Right
Yeah,
there, he is.
Hold on a second. There's a big difference
Yeah.
there. Now, my uncle, my great uncle Ercole, he fought for the Italians during World War II.
right.
He said people actually liked Benito Mussolini and his ideas at that time. Nobody likes Ted Walsh and his ideas.
That's true.
So that's the
true.
big difference. They
Well,
made
and
the
I'm
same
sure he's
head.
not good at. I'm sure Ted Walsh is not good with pizza either, but that's a different
These
story.
are, these are inherently unlikable people.
Right.
There's nothing about this guy that you would say, this is the guy I want to run for president or vice president.
No, they're
he's
horrible.
Balding. He's mad. He's erratic. His wife looks like she's casting spells. It's like she's some kind of a witch that's turned the page.
I've known witches are real. I mean, I don't want to get into it on this show, but witches are real. Just saying, don't anybody let anybody tell you they're not real. They are. But anyway, I digress.
And the evil nature of this whole thing. Running a balding white old guy as vice president is not a great idea.
Yeah.
One with this record, with this record and the things that he says and has done, which are, again, they can't run on their record because their record is not appealing to anybody. Okay. And the future that they're projecting for us is not particular. So right now, through October, we're going to be in a bit of a lull, except that they're not going to provide any FEMA care. There's no FEMA care coming. It's going to be Iran attack. There's going to be probably this other hurricane is going to hit Florida, and FEMA's doing nothing. So, again, there's plenty going on, but the mainstream media wants to maintain this veneer that everything is just fine.
Yep.
You go into New York City, it's a sunny day. There's plenty of people out. There are plenty of people shopping, eating in the restaurants. Everything looks normal.
Well, my friend Shannon Bream over at Fox, I know Shannon, she was, I liked her. She did a really extensive fact checking of Tim Walz over the weekend. And man, oh man, he lied about everything. And it's just, even on Fox, and they still gave him a pretty soft interview, but at least called him out a little bit. But Jerry, I don't understand how our side is not more vigorous in calling these kooks out for what they are. Why is it they even get softball interviews on Fox? I mean, if I had Walz on, I'd be merciless, which is why he will never come on our show. Just saying. So.
And they would be this way to any Republican that ran. They would again be very critical and very hard. But when you look at the rally that Trump held over the weekend and back in Butler, PA, okay, and the huge numbers are coming out for him. So again, I think one of the there's two solutions I think for winning this election. One is the too big to rig. You have to have massive numbers of people coming out.
There it is. There's the interview.
Yeah, massive number of people coming out. And secondly, I think this whole thing about exposing the cheating and the algorithms and exposing how corrupt the Democrats are in terms of every, let's vote the illegal immigrants. Let's vote these people. Let's vote dead people. Let's vote people who don't exist. Let's create votes inside the algorithms and vote them. If the Democrats don't care about honesty, how can you vote for these people? That's and the corruption at the core. What's their agenda? The children are all going to go through sex change operations. Okay. Do you really want your children to go through sex change operations? They're going to be indoctrinated into the schools.
Yeah, no, we're having a discussion here in North Carolina. You can't buy cigarettes till you're 18. I don't think you should be cutting off your private parts till you're 18. Just saying. So.
You know what? I don't think it's a good idea to do it ever.
Well, I agree with you. And my friend Cherie Curry, our friend Cherie's picking up on that lately too. So we're going to have her back on, I think, sometime soon. Hopefully, of course, we need to get her back on talking.
Yeah. I don't want to take you back again. And again, this is another thing we're fighting against. Remember in 2020, the left, the factions
the
of the left,
enhanced elections. Yes,
they fortified the election.
And
what we're talking about is with this gatekeeping of information. We all know that the left lied about, or the media also hid and told us that the Hunter Biden laptop was
Shannon Bream is a rhino. Yes, I know.
Never true.
Yes, Shannon.
We went through it all. We went through George Floyd. We went through Black Lives Matter painting streets. We did all. The left was insane in 2020.
But remember, remember Tony said everything's looking hunky dory according to the media as far as Harrison walls are concerned, but it was crap and it was a hellhole when Trump was president, and they had to have a change, and this is part of that fortifying.
Right.
This is all a crafted narrative that we're being presented as if it were reality.
Right.
And again,
Exactly.
it's a CIA construction of the media.
Truman Show stuff. Yeah.
It's all Truman Show. And so it looks normal right now. But if the Democrats win, they're going to do their agenda. And their agenda
No, I agree.
We
need to be smarter than the average bear. So, Jerry, I have a question I got to ask you because I think folks would like to know. So, what is colder? Is the top of Mount Everest colder than Hillary Clinton's blood, or are they about the same? I think people want to know because it's probably very close.
Well, I think Hillary Clinton's fortified her blood with martinis, so she probably got a lot of antifreeze in there.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
That's
got heyo. We get a heyo for that one.
Bill Clinton. I think that's why Bill Clinton. Oh man,
and angry.
I need to get those warnings up, man.
The Democrats are so angry all the time. They're just angry.
They are.
We're gonna get Ed Henry sued for people's eyes bleeding from all these pictures we're putting up. Man.
She needs one of those martini cups she can have in a straw in her mouth, so she can just draw it at whatever she wants and have it be part of her clothing or something or other. So she's got the little martini pack going along with her every day.
There we go.
She's
angry without him too.
Look at this.
Maybe did you see a few weeks? I guess it was 10 days ago now, Jerry. You weren't on the show, but we covered Puff Daddy. Is that his name? What's his name now?
Puff Daddy, Duty, Pete Diddy, or Diddy. He changes it every once in a while. It's just
so. Did you see that there was an interview that Puff Daddy did, and he basically said Hillary Clinton gets it. She's like hip, and they were like making out in the balcony of some place. Wouldn't that, Chris? Wouldn't that a great video?
She's brat, just like Kamala, right?
She's brat. I'll say, yeah. So she was like looking. Is that the picture? Do we have? Oh, there it is, right there. Vote or die. Is that what his show says? Well,
that's where the eyes bleed.
Look, there's going to be more coming out on the sex escapades that this rapper is. He's got, I'm sure, tons of tapes, and somehow or other he wanted to come out of the satanic cult, and they're now all arguing about what he's going to do to reveal all these celebrities that are again engaging in orgies and drugs and all the rest of it, which is another thing going on in Washington. I mean, the corruption that we're dealing with just below the surface is massive right now. And the left has abandoned Christianity. They've abandoned God. And, the satanic worshiping that's going on in Hollywood and Silicon Valley is real. It's not fantasy any longer. And so this stuff is going to come out, but it's not going to come out in time for the election. Between now and election, everything's going to look normal. Everything's going to look rosy. Everything's going to look just fine. And it's going to be those of us who are saying, wait a minute, as soon as these people get power again, if they do win, we're in for more pandemics. We're in for economic disaster. We're in for more wars, and we're in for eating bugs. I mean, these people.
No, you'll own nothing and be happy. I know. But Chris, I got a question for Chris. And maybe you can find someone who can answer this question. So,
okay,
how drunk do you have to be to go to an orgy with Nancy Pelosi Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer? How drunk do you have to be? Can we get someone to answer that question?
You need to be really hammered to go to an orgy with Nancy Pelosi. All right.
Paid a lot. A lot.
I don't know if there's enough money for that. I mean,
there is, but we can overcome. There is one way to destroy the Democrats very easily, and it requires electronic work. Not the electronic work Israel used.
I thought you were going to say holy water. Holy water might work too.
Holy water might work. But these people can recover sometimes. No, what you do is you break all of their teleprompters. That's what you do. You know how Israel.
Oh yeah, we got to run this. Yeah,
you know
this is a good way to cap off the show.
Right. You know how Israel conquered Hezbollah.
We want to do this. Yeah.
So we'll take care of the teleprompters, and this is what happens when a Democrat loses a teleprompter. This is from last week.
Remember his number 32. Today we got 32 days until the election.
She's all smile. She's joyful. But wait a minute.
Happy, joy. Uh-oh.
But now she's not.
There it goes.
32 days.
Uh-oh, 32.
32 days.
32.
Okay, we got some business to do. We got some business.
Yeah,
to
we
do.
There's
do.
the
All
street
right.
accent.
Skank business
32
to do.
days.
Yeah.
And we
Turn
know
the page.
he
Turn the
will
That's
do
right.
page.
it.
Slurring skank. That's
Turn the
her.
page.
And
Look at the
Was
guy in
that
the
her
lower
college
right-hand
nickname,
corner.
Slurring Skank?
this is going to be a very tight race until the very end. This is going to be a very tight race until the very end.
See,
We are
there's the
underdog.
narrative. That's the
We know
narrative.
we have some hard work ahead.
The narrative.
Remember his number, 32.
Yeah,
That's what happens.
So-
Look at the guy in the lower right-hand corner, by the way. He's
No,
all
but
confused.
to Jerry's point, she defaulted back to their narrative, right, Jerry? That's what she
Back to the
did.
narrative. That she's got a programmed line.
It's not close, people. It's not close.
It's
What
not.
they want you to
Look,
make it think it is.
this election is nowhere near close. If this were a legitimate election,
Right.
these people would be laughed out of town,
Yeah.
and they deserve to be laughed out of town.
Well,
I mean,
they
the
know-
next thing the
Don't buy
Democrats
the
will
hype.
do, next thing they'll do is they'll run a dead person with AI. I keep saying this, that
Yeah.
their, Weekend with Bernie is their dream president.
Too bad absolutely nobody passed on. The guy that ran in Wisconsin under that name. I believe that I believe that Democrats have already known they're throwing the election. They already know they're going to lose, and it was proven last week when the Biden administration pushed or kicked the can down the road with the dock workers strike and told them they can resume in January. So it was off until January, which means it's the next president's problem. And by gum, he's not going to give that one to Kamala. They all know Trump's going to win.
Well, it's one of the things
Wanna
I'm
make it a problem.
warning people about with these algorithms. If the Democrats decide that they've just lost the presidency, they're not going to even try to do it. What they'll go after is control of Congress, because
yeah.
that way they can do the resistance. So the down elections, the Sherwood Brown elections, these are the elections I think that the Democrats are really going to go for. The ones they're going to steal are going to be the ones that are not as visible. They're going to go after the ones that get reported later in the evening or get reported the next day or not at all. Those are the ones they want this time. But, this ticket is, no one wanted Kamala Harris. She was nobody's choice.
Kamala Harris didn't want Kamala Harris.
No, and it was by default when Obama finally just gave in and said, okay, we have to have a coup d'etat against Biden. We're going to park him. By the way, what happened to Biden? I thought he was still president. Where'd he go?
Well, he thinks he is sometimes.
Right.
Where did
By the
he
way,
go?
have you caught Saturday Night Live? They're actually funny again, both last week and this week. The close.
Well, finally, even Saturday
Finally
Night
going after
Live
these knuckleheads.
is going after these people, and I think finally they've realized that if these two, why they're together, I'm not sure, but my suspicions are
evil.
that
Evil begets evil. It's
Yeah,
quote
well,
the X-Files.
she's slept with about everybody.
There's a
she
great
wants-
episode, Jerry. Of Chris and I are both sci-fi. I love. She's great as Kamala. She's fabulous.
She's perfect as Kamala.
Let's cover some of that tomorrow. Let's do some of those sound bites tomorrow. By the way, Chris,
with the cackling and all the rest. I mean,
oh my God, they were great. But anyway, there's an episode of the X-Files called "The Field Where I Die," Jerry, where they talk about evil begets evil. So I highly recommend it. I get nothing out of it. Chris Carter was a genius. More truth to the X-Files than people know. Just saying. There she is. I think Maya Rudolph is a better Kamala than Kamala. Just saying.
I'm a better Kamala than Kamala.
That's right. But anyway, before we go, because I want to mention that I've actually bought these with my own money. Check out Jerry's books. This is my favorite because I've got a degree in environmental studies. The truth about climate, about energy, global warming and climate. You got to get it. Of course, get his other book, which is I'm getting out of order. No, I'm in order. Get the next one, which is about neo-Marxism. The truth. So get that book or his latest, which I bought again just recently. There it is. There it is.
Manifesto.
There, you got to get them. Don't walk. Run to Amazon. Well, you can't really run to Amazon. You got to go online. So let your fingers do the walking.
Amazon. Right. There you go. And
let
also,
your fingers do the walking. Who said that? Wasn't that Bell? Or
the
Paul
Yellow
Bell
Pages. It was the Yellow Pages.
Let your fingers do the. Well, they don't exist anymore. So let your fingers do the walking to Amazon. Right.
And
right, Jerry.
Well, that's the key. The key to all of this is to end the lying and to end the evil that we have here. This is a war on humanity. Since 1970s with Henry Kissinger doing the National Security Memorandum 200 saying that global depopulation was the policy of the United States. We've been down this path, and it's been incremental. So now the CIA and the intelligence agencies have decided they can be out in the open. I mean, to anybody who's watching this, it's apparent to me that we're again being lied to and architected for perpetual war. Then they'll have, the next pandemic will hit, and then we'll be all told that we have to take this vaccine, which will kill us. It's all a programmed evil and packaged in a way that when they want to ease up, they ease up, and you get, everything's fine, and don't worry about the hurricane. We're not going to cover it very much. Don't worry that FEMA isn't there. That's okay. Those people are just complaining. We won't cover them on the media. We'll cover some other happy story. And that way we get happy talk until the election. Then when the Democrats win, they take off the gloves again. We go immediately back to the Marxist agenda. We go back to, they're already between Hillary and John Kerry saying we don't need any First Amendment anymore. These people are, I mean, from the Munsters,
the Munster. Oh yeah, yes.
It's good. Well, I think he was a really good actor back in the 60s, Jerry. But when they took the bolts out, I think Anyway, well, we got to go. We've had another great show, Jerry. Thank you for joining us. Put that back up, Chris. The God's 5 stones up, so people see that. Go check out Jerry's work.
Please visit it. We're going to be adding more to that this week.
And don't forget, Dr. Corsi's Rumble channel is here too. Check it out, The Truth Central.
Thank you guys very much.
Truth Central. That's right. Go check out the Truth Central. And Jerry, people love you. They're in a chat talking about this. We'll have you back real soon. By the way, Ed loves you too. Ed Henry.
Well, I appreciate that. Ed did some of the best interviews of me that I were ever done at Fox. I really liked Ed.
Yeah,
he's a great interviewer.
Oh no, I blurted out with Ed. No, I was out. I blurted out with Ed on I think it was the 7th of March of 2017 that the whole Russia collusion thing was a fiction, and what's his name? Mark Levine and I were the first to say, no, this is bullshit. It's not. It's not true.
Well, it was, and I was in the middle of that, and
I know you were. I know
the whole thing was.
I'm just saying that I went on Fox News.
Yep.
Without regard to the consequences, which there were some, and said, now, President Trump is correct. He's been wiretapped. And Ed Henry was the guy that let me say that on the air. And he got yelled at in his ear. He told me later, it's like they were yelling at my ear to make you shut up. So, and he didn't. He didn't make me shut up. So good on Ed. And good on us.
Yeah.
So there's Truth Central, Dr. Jerome Corsi, Chris Cordani. Folks, we love having you. Thanks for being here. We went over again, and we're going to get yelled at by our the powers that be. It's like, you guys need to be more concise, but it's tough. We have so much information. We're trying to help you be informed to know what is real and not real. Right, Jerry? Our job is to give them the facts. So
that's it. Tell them the truth.
So that's it for today. Well, so we'll see you all tomorrow. Jerry, Chris, thanks for being here.
Okay.
Folks, we'll see you tomorrow morning. See you then.